and it was a natty contenders. Okay.
Okay.
All right, here we go. All right. All right, let's look at it, okay? So we've got all 16 schools right here. Can you see, or is that too small?
Um, I mean, we can see it. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Let me see if I can zoom in for everybody. Ah, that's not good. We're
Go
gonna.
ahead.
Okay, so check it out. Based on all the data we've looked at, based on just what we know about the Big 12, I think there's 4 tiers in the Big 12 for 2024, and I think that the Tier One schools are playoff contenders, possibly playoff win, and then potentially national championship contenders. And then we're going down. So we're going to start, guys, at tier four. So who do you think out of the schools here would be at the lower tier of the Big 12? Based on what we've seen and everything, based on what you understand, who would you pick to finish last in the Big 12?
Houston.
Yep.
Houston, Cincinnati.
Okay, we got Houston. Let's move Houston over. Houston's tier four. I agree. Okay, so then go ahead.
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. I agree. What do you think, Bomber?
I agree with Cincinnati for sure.
Okay, now let's say that there's one more tier four. I'm on a team. I want to see where you guys are, though. Who would be that last tier four team?
I think BYU is going to win more games than 4.5, but I don't know what that put with the rest of the ranks. Arizona State, just looking at comparisons. I don't even know how good Baylor is going to be this year.
Right.
Um,
Moen, what do you think?
I'd put BYU over there. No offense, Bomber. I just did. You like you said, they're rebuilding.
no, I didn't say anything.
No,
Yeah,
I'm just.
I mean,
I'm
it's
just
hard
letting
to
you know.
if you look at the comparisons, it's hard not to
Yeah.
put BYU down there.
So I'm on Arizona State.
That's where I was before Moen spoke. So
So Moen, so let's go Arizona State, and because we just majority there, and then let's go BYU in tier
yes,
three here.
yeah,
Okay. I think BYU actually is going to be pretty dang tough, especially defensively with Jay Hill this
yeah.
year. Like I don't think the Cougars are a team you probably don't want to play and stuff. They're going to really punch you around. They remind me of Utah, early Pac-12 days. That's exactly how the Cougars are playing football and stuff when people just didn't want to play Utah at all
I
because
will
you're just
say
going to
this:
get muddied up.
if BYU had a 4-star quarterback, you'd have them up between tier 2 and 3. They
Yeah,
just don't have a quarterback. So it shows you how much the most important player on the field, and if your team doesn't have one, where does that put you? So
exactly. Now's where it gets really tricky, guys. Like you're looking at tier. This is like where this middle section of the Big 12 right here.
I think Colorado.
What do you think, Moen?
I would put Baylor first. Put Baylor in there because
Fine,
I'm not
Baylor.
sold on Dave Aranda.
I'm not
Right,
either.
Baylor
I'll look
then
for Baylor.
Colorado.
What do you think, Moen? Are you in Colorado yet?
Yeah, move Colorado to tier 3.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Let me move the teams up here. All right. Now we're getting to like the middle of the Big 12 and the upper half here. What we think at least. So this is where it gets real tricky, right? These different tiers here. So okay. I'm saying TCU next in line here.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I would be okay with that.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to make an argument that Arizona should be there as well.
In
And
tier
it's
three?
not that Arizona doesn't have talent, but it's just that quarterback and the wide receivers. If anything happens to that quarterback,
Right.
Arizona's, up a creek without a paddle.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, they don't have depth. We don't. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's a bit low, but I could go one more notch, the highest end of tier three. I mean, just because they've got such high. I mean, they've got two
Okay,
players
so
going right.
so I would put UCF in because
Man,
UCF they're doing great recruiting right now, but I don't think they're there yet. I think the next 2 seasons is when you're going to see UCF become a real power. in the Big 12. I just don't think they're there yet.
Can we fill the upper part in first?
Yeah, okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah, we can get there. So, who do you want to put in the top-notch spot here for Tier 1?
My vote's Kansas State.
Okay.
Yeah,
think,
I
Mo?
would go Kansas State too. I would agree with that.
Okay. Majority rules. Who would you go in the 2 spot?
Utah,
I would pick Utah. Yeah.
Okay. How about the 3 spot?
Oklahoma State.
Yep.
Okay. I agree with these teams in Tier 1. I just disagree with the placement.
Well,
talk
that's okay. That's all right. I think that's
Okay,
very
now
fair.
can we go down to Tier 2? Who's the 4th team in the Big 12? Are we on
Kansas.
Kansas?
Kansas.
I like Kansas and West Virginia.
Here's the problem with Kansas. Like, what kind of depth does KU have? I mean, Daniels, everyone rips Rising because he gets hurt, but Daniels has gotten hurt all the time. Like, there isn't a Jason Bean to come back up him anymore. I know they've got good coaching and everything, but I'm not really sure like the roster talent outside of Jaden Daniels and some players. I don't know. Like, I mean, it seems like real boom or bust. They could be real middling and stuff or have a good season. Real unpredictable for KU.
I think because of the coach and what the coach has done there, I think you gotta give it up to the coach. Arizona's got
What do you think?
Arizona's got the same issue, but Arizona's breaking in a new coach.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would put Arizona down Tier 3.
Okay, we'll go. Arizona's moving now to this spot.
No,
Or
the top one. Yep.
Okay.
There.
I'm okay with that for Arizona right there. Okay, we're filling the sucker in. All right, so we're saying KU. Do you agree with this, Bomber? Tier 2 KU?
I think, look, I think West Virginia, Texas Tech, and Kansas are all the same team. That's just how I look at it.
I'm saying, okay, I think that Iowa State is better than Kansas this year.
Okay.
And West Virginia. So I guess we're gonna have to break this. So Bomber. So Iowa State or KU in this 4th spot.
Like I said, it could be West Virginia.
Or West Virginia.
Yeah, I would probably put West Virginia. And then Kansas. But you guys vote. I'll defer to what you guys think.
I would put Kansas and West Virginia.
Okay.
So, okay, we'll go Kansas, West Virginia. I'm going to say Iowa State. I'm going to get them in. I like Iowa State this year. Okay, so then here we go. This thing's filling in, okay? All right, 2 more spots. I'm thinking Texas Tech's in Tier 3. UCF's in bottom end of Tier 2.
I don't know. Texas Tech might be better than you think, but UCF schedule. Can we bring up UCF schedule?
Yeah, can you share your screen?
Yeah, let me look at it. Hang on.
Yeah, let's take a look at their schedules.
Yeah, let me do a search for that really quick. Yeah.
I mean, is that too low on Texas Tech?
It may be. That's what I'm trying to see who.
I would put Texas Tech. Like I said, I think UCF, not this season, the next 2 seasons, will be a top tier in the Big 12. But I just don't think they're there yet.
Mo, can you put a poll up and see what folks think too while we're talking about it for those 2? Who's going to have a better season this year?
So really quick while he's doing that, New Hampshire's a win. Sam Houston's a win at TCU. Then they have their bye week. Then Colorado, Florida, at Florida, Cincinnati, Iowa State versus BYU. That's in Florida. Arizona is in Florida. Sorry, versus BYU and Arizona. Those road games then? No, they're home, right? So BYU and Arizona are both at home. Arizona State, I think they could win 8 or 9 games. This schedule is very, very comfortable. Their toughest battles would be Utah at home.
That's a Friday night game across country for the Utes.
Yeah, that is. Yeah,
but they're going at West Virginia. That's tough to go back to back.
At Florida, is another one I would probably, although Florida could be firing their coach this year.
Florida should have fired their coach last year.
They should have fired him 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Colorado, I think that's a win. They might win. Look, they have a very easy schedule. They're almost as easy as Utah's is.
I see eight or
Yeah,
9 wins.
I do
on that.
too. Yeah.
Maybe 8. And that West Virginia game looks tough. It depends. Like that Utah game is going to be a swing game. Probably like 7 to 9 wins in that range
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I agree with that.
for UCF. We got to pull up the schedule for Texas Tech now. So we're at 7 to 9 wins for UCF. Yeah, the Arizona game. That's at home. So BYU's going out there too. Utah and
Yeah.
BYU going out to.
Yeah, they got both
UCF.
of them. Both
Man.
of them there. I would say they're 8 or 9 wins. So if you're gonna put them in the mix,
Well, we'll let the audience decide. We'll let the
Okay.
audience decide. We've got we're going to
Okay.
keep that poll open for another minute and a half, guys. So go ahead and vote in that poll if you want to. Right now, it's 60% Texas Tech, 40% UCF. If you think UCF has got it, you better jump in there.
You've got an angry Jason Spangler, who's been a member with us for a while. KU fan says KU destroyed Iowa State in the Ames last year with their backup quarterback, but yeah, Iowa State is better. Unsubscribe.
Unsubscribe, man. Yeah. So, look, Jason Bean was legit. I really respected
definitely.
that player. That guy was like a sprinter. He was a really good player and everything.
Yes.
I think Iowa State is returning so much. I think it all hinges on Jaden Daniels again for KU. Well coached team. But if it's all hinging on one player, it's kind of like Arizona and Fafita a little bit. It's just a little too risky to really buy a lot right now. That's the perspective. So consider resubscribing though, Jason.
These are all opinions, Jason. Certainly tell us what games you think you guys are going to win,
Mhm.
right? You run through your schedule and give us your wins, and then we'll look at it, and maybe you convince somebody to change their vote. I think Kansas could be the third best team in the conference, and I think they could be the 7th best team in the conference. Injuries go a long way, and depth for these teams is so hard. That's probably the biggest challenge is depth.
Yeah, and the odds makers have KU at 4 or 5 spot. So we're right in line with what the odds makers made and everything. So I think that it's a fair assessment of KU.
Yeah, it would be hard for me to change my assessment there. I do agree. I forgot Bean when I first was talking about Kansas at the top of the show. I thought Bean was back. I didn't realize he was gone. So that was me just not knowing the facts on that quarterback room. If Bean was back, I could say Kansas easy could be 2 or 3 in the conference.
Yeah.
So the audience seems to think Texas Tech over UCF.
There
Okay.
we go.
I would probably have to default to that. Yeah.
All right, let's share. All right, let's finish this off, guys.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right, here we go. So Texas Tech makes it to Tier 2.
Okay.
And UCF now moves to Tier 3. I think we've made a pretty dang good list. Really do.
I think the bottom 2 in Tier 2 and the top 2 in Tier 3, you could make an argument for any of those teams to move up or down.
Why don't we just change the tiers then if you think that? So why don't we just
that is the problem.
Move the Tier 2 down a few notches.
Yeah, that is the problem with the Big 12 is you have the strongest middle in all of college football, right? I would be okay with UCF all the way up to Kansas being Tier 2. I'd be all right with that.
What do you think, Moen?
Yeah.
You like this Tier 2? Is that better?
That's better, I think. But see, boy, now you really put. It's so hard with this damn conference.
It is. It is.
It's
really
not
is.
like the Big Ten or the SEC where we know
No.
who the guys are going to be at the top and who the guys are going to be at the bottom.
Right.
This is going to be a fun conference to watch this year.
I like having UCF in tier 2. I think UCF's a complete dark horse. Like we said, 7 to 9 wins. We know how talented Arizona's top end players are, and then we've just got solid teams, in this area. And then KU right there, and that's exactly what we're pretty high on KU, 4th position right there, top of tier 2. All right, so we got the tier list now. So when we're looking at the tier list, we're going to look at tier 1 and 2, and we're going to say, okay, if any of these teams